All right, guys, another week, same setup. Thursday night football. We already went over the Houston Texans losing to the New York Jets. Seen that coming for a little bit of a mile away, just because of the injuries and things that was going on. But let's get into Sunday and news from all the games that I know of. I don't know it all. I never claimed to, but let's see what we got going on. I got a little trusty little note sheet here full of notes and all the games. Starting off, we're going to go with the New Orleans Saints versus the Panthers. We all know what this game is going to be. It's supposed to be Derek Carr is making his return. If they do, it's going to be a landslide victory for Saints. Panthers are supposed to be already shopping Bryce Young around. Apparently, there's people wanting to talk about it, see what they have in it. I wish the Panthers organization was better, but they're about the same as Cleveland. They just don't know what they're doing. And I predict the Saints going to win that handily, especially if Carr comes back. Division game, Commanders versus Washington. Excuse me. Washington. It's the G-Men, New York Giants. So Washington Commanders versus New York Giants. Division game. It's going to Jalen Daniels is special. That offense is special. You can't say too much. That's not accurate about them as a whole. The Commanders have figured it out defensively. They figured it out offensively, and they've been able to do a lot. And getting rid of Sweat and getting rid of Chase a couple years ago, I thought was like devastating. It turns out they were on to something. Maybe not so much with Sweat getting him to Chicago, but can't argue with results. They're winning games, and they had a nice win last week against Chicago in the two rookie showdown. This week, I see them beating the G-Men, but it's going to be a good division game. On the Giants side of the ball, you got Neighbors, and then you got Slayton, who's actually turning it up real good. Tracy coming out of the backfield, kind of revitalized the running game. Don't know if he's going to play. He's been in concussion protocol. He's questionable for the game. If he doesn't play, G-Men aren't winning. I'm going to take the Commanders only because it's a rivalry week. It'll probably be close, but I'll take Commanders. Finns versus Bills. Tua's second game back going up against the Buffalo Bills. They look good. The Dolphins looked good last week. They looked good. Kyler Murray had a nice drive at the end of the game to win that game against them, but offensively they look like a whole nother team. And this is the case with Miami. They always look like they're a really good team. They can get yards. They can be very explosive. The running game is very suspect. It's been that way since Tua got there. I had one year where Raheem Mostert was going really hard and he was doing really, really good, but that's not always the case. And with that being said, there's definitely room for improvement in that aspect. I still think they're running back away from being an it team. And honestly, them getting rid of Tunsil to Houston a couple years ago didn't help at all. But very explosive pass offense, run offense. Still not there where I want them to be. And they're going up against one of the three most complete teams in the NFL, and that's the Buffalo Bills, who can run it with the addition of Amari Cooper and I slaughter his name every time, but their rookie receiver coming into his own, and Kincaid and Knox at tight end. You got a team in the Buffalo Bills that are a complete team, still looking for a Super Bowl win, still looking to get over that hump, but a deep postseason team. So I'm going to take the Bills in that game, but it's hard for me to bet against Miami. I think the Bills will win it overall, but Miami looks good. Miami looks like they're ready to get that offense going, and we'll see what they do. I'm not 100% on that outcome. I would not bet on that game, but because I think it can go either way. Chargers Browns. Hey, guess what? I'm going to that game because Deshaun Watson's not our quarterback. I'd rather go see, and let's just talk about it in a nutshell. Chargers have a great run game. They got Gus Edwards. They got J.K. Dobbins, he's been great this year. He is. He's on my fantasy team. I know. I've been watching his stats. I was excited when he got picked up by the Chargers because he needed an opportunity. He was getting injured a lot, and a lot of NFL players talk nothing but good things. Aaron Rodgers even said good things about him. They actually recovered together at one of the facilities. Said he was a good kid and good hard work ethic, and just like everybody at who's an Ohio State fan or watched him in college knows, he's a monster when he wants to be. So very excited for him. They have a good running game. They have a return. They have their last year's first round draft pick receiver coming back this week. Might help them with Ward concussion protocol. Don't know if he's playing. I know JOK is not playing, so that's going to be interesting to see how their middle linebacker does. But the Cleveland Browns, in a nutshell, without Deshaun Watson, have looked like a new team. 325 yards through the air last week. Cedric Tillman, Jared Jeudy, David Njoku's being great. Nick Chubb, you can tell it's only his third game back, but you can tell he's getting better already. So the Browns are going to be dynamic. I think the Browns will win. I think Jameis Winston's going to break history by being the first quarterback to beat 2 hardballs back-to-back weeks. Not much to say about it. You see the difference in the play of the Cleveland Browns with a more strong-arm, confident quarterback. But again, Jameis can throw 4 touchdowns, or he can throw 4 picks, or he can do both in the same game and still win the game. But with everything going on with San Diego, they're struggling with receivers. They don't have great receivers. They don't have great receivers, don't have great tight end play. And Justin Herbert's suffering for that. I thought they would have made a play for Adams or Cooper to get him somebody to throw to, but they didn't. They have decent ones. They just don't have great ones, and I think that's going to be the downfall with that Cleveland Browns defense because they are no slouches on defense. Michael Hall in the middle is making it hard for teams to run the ball, even though he's a rookie. He looks very impressive. The other linebackers are doing good. Grant Delpit being the safeties helping out a lot. I mean, they have, and I haven't even mentioned Myles Garrett and Zarius Smith. They have a defense in Cleveland. It's just a matter of if the offense can produce. And after last week, we see they can. As long as Jameis Winston doesn't throw the interceptions, I see Cleveland winning that game. Maybe by 2 touchdowns. Patriots and Titans. Hard to talk about this game. Is it going to be Mason Rudolph? Is it going to be Will Lutz? No one knows. Calvin Ridley's probably going to have an okay game. Is it going to be Drake May? Is it going to be Jason Campbell? Who really knows for the Patriots? I had overheard Drake May might miss the game. That's a throwaway game for me. Both these teams we know aren't going to playoffs. We know aren't going to be going deep into playoffs. They're both on a rebuild. Patriots are rebuilding their whole coaching staff, for God's sake. And Titans have always been a mess. So, I mean, they had Henry for years and couldn't put it together with what they had A.J. Brown. I mean, come on, dude. You couldn't do it with that? Come on. So the Titans are never going to go anywhere. Even the last time they were relevant, they had Eddie George. So, and Patriots, they have a rookie quarterback. They have no notable receivers. They have no notable tight ends. Stevenson, the running back, has been playing well. And, I don't see anything really impressive in this game to talk about. So that's another throwaway game for me. Dallas versus Falcons. Let's just say it. Dallas is going to get blown out. The Atlanta Falcons, Kirk Cousins has been playing out of this world, and he always does play out of this world until he gets to the playoffs or he plays a primetime game. And this isn't a primetime game. The Dallas Cowboys are a crapshoot. They are a poop shoot of talent. Doesn't matter if they got Micah Parsons or not. He complains about being held. The defense is atrocious. The offense has no running game what to speak of. All they have is CeeDee Lamb. That is it. All they have is Dak to CeeDee, Dak to CeeDee, Dak to CeeDee. And if they don't have that, they have nothing. Tolbert had one good game, and he had one game-saving, against Justin Fields and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, let's just be honest, okay, good job. You picked a team struggling on offense. That's great. But as far as that goes, there's nothing to worry about. The Atlanta Falcons are going to blow the doors off of the Dallas Cowboys. Atlanta's defense is too good, and Cowboys' offense is just bad, and their defense is just bad. And honestly, it's just a bad team. did no off-season moves that were even going to make it relevant for them to win this game. I see the Falcons probably winning by 21 points. Raiders and Cincy. Cincinnati's going to win unless they are a roller coaster. If they play to their potential, they will blow out the Raiders. If they play to where they play, a lot of times, the Raiders will upset them. That coaching staff, in my opinion, is terrible. They take their foot off the gas. They do not have people show up at a consistent basis. They do not care if their players show up at a consistent basis. Joe Burrow plays all world. Jamal Chase plays all world. The tight end plays all world. Chase Brown, I think, is their best back. I've said that numerous times. And they play to the level of their competition, which will never get them far and will never get them to another Super Bowl and will never get them to another AFC Championship game. Personal opinion. I think the Cincinnati Bengals will take that game. 5-2 Denver versus the Ravens. Ravens were embarrassed last week against the Cleveland Browns, and I think this is going to be a absolute mugging of the Denver Broncos. Denver is still winning games. Bo Nix does look good. I like Bo Nix. I thought Bo Nix was one of the best quarterbacks coming out in the draft. Everybody else thought so too. Wasn't in my top 3, and he's still not in my top 3. He shows a lot to learn. When you're not getting the ball to Cortland Sutton 1 week, and then 1 week you throw to him 10 times, I think you're starting to figure it out. Hey, I should throw it to the guy who's 6'3" in all pro. But Ravens made a trade. They got Dante Washington, who's a speedster. It's not going to do anything for him. It was an irrelevant trade. That doesn't mean anything. They are a run-first team who passes to the tight ends, passes it to Zay Flowers. That's their offense. Bateman getting a couple 50-yard games doesn't matter to me because everybody else was covered. It's likely Andrews, Flowers, Henry, Edwards. That's it. Justice Hill. But yeah, their offense is easy, but you can't stop it because it's Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, two of the most talented players in the league on the same team. Zay Flowers, Justice Hill comes in there to get Henry a blow. If they don't get pass happy and they do what they're supposed to do, they win the game and they will blow them out. If they come in there and they want to get pass happy like they have the last 2 games, that's why the Buccaneers start coming back on them. That's why they lost against Cleveland. They get pass happy. When they get pass happy, hey, guess what? I love Lamar Jackson. He doesn't have the weapons outside because he needs upper tier players to win that game, and he doesn't have it. He has one upper tier player, and the rest are mediocre. Isaiah Likely's good. Mark Andrews, is everybody knows, he's an all-pro. He's great, even though he had a slow start to the season. Obviously, look at him now. He's doing really good. But the Ravens, that's going to be a land. I think that'll be a landslide. The Denver record is fake. 5-2 is a sham. The team's not really that good. Even though they found the running game, they're not really that good. There's no post threat. Okay. Bears and Cardinals. Hey, guess what? I predict that the Chicago Bears are going to be upset about the Hail Mary. I think Caleb Williams is going to go in there and light up Arizona. I think Caleb Williams will throw for 3 or 4 touchdowns this game. But I still don't like their running game. They have a great passing game. Caleb Williams is doing really, really good there. Defense. Obviously, their defense is really good. They held the Commanders to only 17 some odd points before the Hail Mary, 16 points before the Hail Mary, and then that got them to the win. But as far as I'm concerned, I think the big story of this is going to be Arizona. Can they continue to ride the momentum from last week when they beat the returning Tua? Trey McBride, great tight end. Marvin Harrison, great receiver. They have a great running game. The Cardinals look amazing. They look really good as a unit. Defense, I'm not high on. I'm not high on their defense. I think that's going to be the thing that holds them back. Kyler Murray, I love this year's Kyler Murray. He's playing really well. He's really getting Trey McBride going, And Marvin Harrison and him, if they can keep it up what they did last week, they win this game. But I will say, when you see when you see Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, and then what they're able to do with screen games out of the backfield, this will be an entertaining game. I do think that the Cardinals can win this game, but I think the Bears are going to take it because of what happened last week. Jaguars versus Eagles. The Jaguars can put up points sometimes. They have a good running game. I actually have two good running backs. I love both their running backs. Even Etienne, even though I think he's getting a wake-up call that, hey, guess what? You're not the best running back on this team. Let me look at my notes here. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence's year's been supremely up and down. The Eagles, they're still figuring themselves out. But I will say one thing about the Eagles. They're one of the most impressive rosters in the NFL. But they're like the Cincinnati Bengals. It's a roller coaster ride. You never know which one you're gonna get. And part of that is because their coaching staff is atrocious. I don't like their head coach at all. I don't like his mentality, and I think he's trash. So I think the Eagles will win that game unless they don't play to their potential. Jaguars will, because Jags will put up points. Rams and Seattle is one of my games of the week that I have highlighted. Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp make that offense look really good. Seattle doesn't have DK Metcalf this week. He's out. He got a high ankle sprain or something happened to him, and he's still dealing with that. So that's gonna hurt Seattle because Tyler Lockett, Smith and Jigba are great, but DK is another level of human being and another level of player on that field that helps stretch the team. I think it's really going to condense their offense. Kenneth Walker Jr. can try his best, but with DK being out, I'm saying the Rams are going to win that game. Still not impressed with the Rams' defense. Another really good game that I have highlighted that I want to talk about is the Lions-Packers game. Lions, best team in football? Maybe. They're coming off of a win over Tennessee where they dropped 52 on them. This is not going to be a Tennessee team. This is a Green Bay Packers team who Jordan Love's playing really, really well. They have good receivers. Christian Watson is the biggest mystery to me. He gets hurt, disappears in talent. Next week he has 50, 60 yards. Disappears, 50, 60 yards. They need to get Christian Watson back to being Christian Watson and not being the shell of the human that he is right now. He's not a great player right now. I think everybody knows that. He needs to get back on his horse and do what he does, because Christian Watson a couple years ago was a household name. Now, not so much. I do see the Lions winning, but this is going to be a barn burner. And even though as good as the Packers offense is and as good as the Lions defense is, Jordan Love is good. The Packers in general are good. Well, my dogs are barking. But yeah, that's going to round out the week. So enjoy. Hopefully this week is good. And then we'll cover the... I didn't cover the night game of the Vikings-Colts. Vikings win by a landslide. That's all, folks.